Thursday, May 7th, and today we're moving on to Unit 8, Activity 3. Today's objective, students will be able to understand measurements on a ruler by identifying the length of given objects. And your DOL is, of course, an online assignment, and your online assignment will have you measuring different objects on a piece of paper, and you just have to see where the objects line up on the ruler. Problem of the day. What is the measurement of the pencil shown below? Well, let me erase that little mark. I notice that the pencil is lined up perfectly with the 0 at the end of the ruler, and that's exactly what you want to do when you line up objects. And this isn't just for math class or for school, but in general, if you ever have to measure something, you always want to line up the object toward the end, toward the 0. And then you want to see where the other end of the object lines up to. So if I look at the point of the pencil, it's lining up to the number 4. And today we're working with inches. So the length of this pencil would be 4 inches. And instead of writing the whole word, you can write IN and then put a period. That's called an abbreviation. So make sure the object is lined up at the 0, and then you check the other side of the object to see how long it is. Let's try another one. Example number 1, teacher model. What is the measurement of the pencil shown below? When looking to measure the length of this pencil or anything that I am measuring with a ruler, I must first make sure that I am starting at the 0 on the ruler. I see that I've done that already. I see that the edge of the eraser is lined up with the 0. Now I look at the other end of the pencil to see the measurement. The tip of the pencil does not end at one of the numbers labeled on the ruler. It's past the 5, but it has not reached 6 yet. So I can't say it's 5 inches, and I can't say it's 6 inches. It is longer than 5 inches, but shorter than 6 inches. Between 5 and 6, there are several tick marks, and those are those little lines you see. These marks stand for fractions of the inch. Now, the longest line between each inch partitions into 2 parts. So I'm going to show you what I mean. On our first ruler, our inch can be broken up into 1/2 an inch and 1/2 an inch. That means that this line represents 1/2 an inch. So it's not only with that inch. If you see, from 5 to 6, that's 1/2 an inch. Thank you for having so much patience when I use these pens. And this is 1/2 an inch. Okay, so that middle mark represents 1/2 an inch. And I'm right now going over all the 1/2 inches. It's just the halfway mark between 2 numbers. Now let's look at the next ruler down. We can divide each inch into 4 parts. So watch as I do that. 1, 2, 3, 4. These lines represent 1/4 of an inch. That's not the only 1/4 of an inch. Every single time, between every 2 numbers, you will find 1/4 of an inch, just like you did with 1/2 of an inch. So if I'm looking between 4 and 5, that's 1/4 of an inch. That's another 1/4 of an inch. That's another 1/4 of an inch. And then that's a 1/4 of an inch. Okay, so this would be 4 1/4. This would be 4 2/4 or 4 1/2. This would be 4 3/4. Okay, and then the bottom, we can divide each inch into 1/8. That's 1/8. This will take me a little while. This is 2/8. 3/8. 4/8. 5/8. Thank you for having so much patience. 6/8. 7/8. And finally 8/8. We reached the 1. So let me do a quick review. The top ruler shows 1/2 inches. The second ruler shows 1/4 inches. And the bottom ruler shows 1/8. So this line is 1/8, 2/8, 3/8, 4/8, 5/8, 6/8, 7/8. All right, you just count by 8ths. Rulers have these additional tick marks to help us measure objects more precisely. So looking again at the pencil I am measuring, let's go back. Rather than saying this is a little more than 5 inches, I can give a more exact measurement. If I line up the tip of the lead with the ruler, I'm landing on a 1/4. So it's 5 inches and a 1/4. So you would say that as 5 1/4 inches, 5 1/4 inches. Okay, because it's, remember, we divided the rulers up and it happens to land on 5 1/4 right here. We're going to try more together. So that's 5 1/4 inches, or 5 1/4 inches. Okay, example number 2, guided practice. What is the measurement of the pencil shown below? The pencil length falls between 2 whole inches. What inches does it fall between? Oh, I notice it falls between 3 inches and 4 inches. And remember, I can't just say, oh, it's almost 4 inches. That's good enough. No way. We need to use the tick marks to help us figure out this length. First, let's find the tick marks that's 3 1/2. This is 3 1/2 because we're past the 3 inches and we're halfway to 4. So that's 3 1/2. And I'll just label that to help me. Remember, this is the one that partitions the inch into 2 parts. Does the pencil measure 3 1/2 inches? No, it kind of looks like it's past that. Now, let's find the tick marks for the quarters. These partition the whole into 4 parts. What does each stand for? So using a different color, this is 3 1/4. That's 3 1/2, and this is 3 3/4. And just so we're not confused, 3 1/2 is the same as 3 2/4. So that means the point of our pencil matches up with 3 3/4 inches, or 3 3/4 long. Don't forget to label. Okay. Let's try another one. What is the measurement of the pencil shown below? Between which two whole inches does the length of the pencil measure? It measures between 4 and 5 inches. First, let's find the tick mark for 4.5. Remember, it's halfway between the 4 and the 5. Is this pencil 4.5 inches long? I don't think so. It is less than that. Now, let's find the tick marks for the quarters. Does it match up with 4.25? No, it looks a little bigger than that. Okay, so it didn't line up with our halfway mark or our quarter mark. So it must line up with that mark in between. It looks like it matches perfectly with this line, which is 1/8. So if this is 4 1/8, 4 2/8, and this is 4 3/8. That means this pencil is 4 3/8 inches. All you have to do is see what tick it lines up with. Is it the halfway mark? Is it a quarter mark? Or is it 1/8 mark? Okay, so your DOL today is the online assignment, and it is 2 pages. Okay, so make sure you're doing both pages. Have a wonderful rest of your Thursday.